Let's bring into the conversation now for a wide-ranging conversation, our colleague and friend there, former federal prosecutor and legal analyst Neama Rahmani. He joins me. Neama, good to see you. I know you're based in L.A. We're glad you're okay, but no doubt so many people are reeling right now. And I got to ask, let's start with some of these looting charges as well. You know, this is an unfortunate reality in the wake of natural disasters. Did Hochman strike the right tone on that?
Andrew, I think he did. And I used to work with Hawkman, and this is a refreshing change from our previous district attorney, George Gascon. Here's someone that is going to treat these looters with the criminal justice that they deserve. They're taking advantage of their fellow Angelinos in their most dire states. These are people that have lost their homes. They can't return to their homes because they're damaged. And what are these looters doing? They're committing the worst crime imaginable. They're trying to steal from people who have lost it all. I mean, let's be real. These people, even if they have insurance, no one has enough insurance to rebuild here, Andrew. People are woefully underinsured. They are going to lose everything, and to have their personal possessions taken from them because they had to leave their homes with just a few minutes notice is really beyond the pale. So I'm glad that the new district attorney is taking this very harsh and aggressive stance against these looters.
And just today, at the latest update on the Palisades fire, new California Senator, the Democrat Adam Schiff, said there's a special place in hell for those who loot while these natural disaster responses are ongoing. Neama, let's focus on price gouging as well and some of the allegations that have been bandied about in the LA County area. You tweeted this today. I want to read it. You said, I live and work in LA. I've seen significant price gouging in real estate in violation of Penal Code 396. California law prohibits owners and landlords from increasing prices and rents by more than 10% during a state of emergency. And you also go on to say, you can compare the listings before January 7th to see if they've increased by more than 10%. If a property was not on the market before the fires, the price cannot be more than 160% of the fair market value as determined by Housing and Urban Development, the federal agency there. You say hopefully the AG, DA, and city attorney investigate and prosecute these cases here. So what is the law on the books there in California when it comes to price gouging? You say you've seen instances of it. Where?
I have in the real estate market. And under California law, doesn't matter what it is, prices cannot increase by more than 10% during a state of emergency. So here you have thousands of people who have lost their homes. The rental market is skyrocketing. And you have these unscrupulous landlords and real estate agents that are taking advantage, jacking up prices by 50%, sometimes 100%. And people are so desperate, Andrew, to find a place for their family. They're paying these prices. Now, maybe there's some mom and pops that don't understand the law, but I want to make it clear to anyone watching that this is unlawful. You can't take advantage of people like this. So, and it's very easy in the real estate market. You see what the listing was on January 6th, the day before the fires. You see what it is the day of the fire, the day after, and it's a clear violation. And again, we talked about the looters injured. This is another sad reality. People are trying to take financial advantage of these victims, and it's just heartbreaking, and it's frankly reprehensible.
So you would agree with Schiff's sentiment for these price gougers or alleged price gougers that there's a special place in hell for them. What about the punitive measures if, say, someone is caught price gouging and they're prosecuted, tried, and convicted for it? What are they looking at?
Well, it's certainly not a life case, and I agree with Senator Schiff. He's a former federal prosecutor, too. Unfortunately, it's not a felony. It's not something that's going to land someone in prison for the rest of their life, like a third strike or an arson that results in death that we're seeing here. It's a misdemeanor, but it still should be prosecuted to send a message. I don't care if you're a real estate agent, a broker, owner, a landlord. You can't do this. And especially when the market is what it is. So many folks are out of their homes. I've had family members who have been displaced who are living with me. I've had colleagues. I've had friends who have lost their home, their entire possession, they're living in another county or sleeping on someone's couch, and to have people do this, I need the attorney general, I need Hockman, I need the city attorney to file these cases because,
Yeah.
like you see, they do get a lot of press, and it will send a message, and hopefully it'll stop this behavior.
So I want to put this tweet up here. LA County put this out. Price gouging is illegal during emergencies, and they have a number and a website or email address rather that you can report instances if you see it. But it's not just homes and rental properties that can be gouged, right, Nima?
Absolutely. I mean, we saw during the pandemic where, supplies, food, masks, what people need to live. I mean, you go to the grocery store now, it is shades of the lockdown. The shelves are empty. There's been a run on basic supplies like water. It's getting better over the past couple of days, but it really shows, how fragile everything is and how it can be taken away in just a moment's notice. I mean, I was on Live Now talking about other cases. President Trump's sentencing, the TikTok ban just last week, and now look at these images of Los Angeles. It looks like a war zone, like someone dropped a bomb here. So things are really in dire straits here. The National Guard has come in. That's certainly helped, and things are getting back to normal. I just hope that the winds don't pick up later this week and we have more fires. That would be a big problem.
Yes, it would. I want to ask, though, is it kind of a 50-50 split when it comes to the effort with law enforcement? Do they look for the instances of gouging themselves, or do they rely mostly on the public to report it? Or is it a joint effort in tandem?
It's really something that the public needs to report. Now,
Oh,
Bonta, the attorney general, has come out. He had a press conference putting together a task force, but this is something that we really need folks who are watching. If you see someone doing this, and it's very easy just to compare the prices before and after, especially now that everything's online. If you see this, report this so the individuals who are trying to take financial advantage of these victims are prosecuted and brought to justice. It really needs a public effort here.
Nima, while we have you, I know we're moving around from kind of topic to topic here, but one of the main questions out there still is what caused the Palisades fire? What caused the Eaton fire? And we're getting a little bit of reporting, and that's getting fleshed out in the days since January 7th when this broke out. But still, it's not definitive just yet. We wait for more reporting on those very questions of what led to the cause of these fires, though we can get a sense of where some of the blame is being directed and or shifted by some of the lawsuits that have been filed against some of the utility companies in Southern California here. Our colleague Matt Finn reports that a lawsuit was filed against SoCal Edison over the historic Eaton fire near Pasadena. And I want to read from the report in Reuters as well. Nima, Reuters reporting Southern California Edison was hit by multiple lawsuits today, claiming its electrical equipment started one of the major wildfires currently raging in the LA area. That's according to court filings. According to Reuters, they say this, that the legal actions appear to be the first of hundreds or even thousands of claims that may arise from the wildfires that have engulfed parts of Southern California in the past week. So, Nima, walk us through some of these lawsuits. Who can file them? What claims do they have to present to file them? And how does a utility company as large as SoCal Edison defend themselves?
Well, we're going to see a lot of lawsuits, Andrew, and I'm representing some of these victims, and there's going to be thousands of them. Let's start with the Eaton fire. It does appear, based on the pictures and the videos, and we've all seen them on social media, that a SoCal Edison line sparked the fire. There was overgrown vegetation. There was a warning we all got the day before, but instead of de energizing and shutting down those lines, notwithstanding knowing that the Palisades fire was burning for hours, Edison didn't do so, and they're likely the cause of that fire that burned so many acres and destroyed so many homes and displaced so many people. Palisades, it's a little bit less clear. It does appear to maybe be a rekindling of an earlier fire, maybe caused by Mother Nature. Now, there are folks who are filing lawsuits against the city and the state, and we've seen the social media posts about the lack of water in the St. Inez Reservoir and the lack of water in the hydrants, those types of claims are going to be much more challenging because the government tends to have broad immunity in these types of cases and discretionary immunity. So I expect the city and DWP and the state to file motions to dismiss. And I wouldn't be surprised if those lawsuits are indeed dismissed because the legal hurdle is a lot higher for the folks who are in Malibu, who are in Pasadena. They may be relying entirely on insurance coverage,
See.
which, like I said, is a big problem because folks are underinsured. Now, in Eaton Canyon, there may be that recovery from a utility company down the road to supplement what people do get from their insurance company.
So if you're SoCal Edison, though, do you have immunity? I mean, we've kind of been through this before on somewhat of a smaller scale, several years ago with Pacific Gas and Electric, the main utility in Northern California after some of these fires broke out. And we know what happened to PG&E, and their reputation was really, really tarnished in the wake of those fires. Is that what SoCal Edison is looking like or looking to expect in the wake of this? I know we're not even a week removed from the start of the fires here, but do they have a battle ahead of them if you're the utility company?
They absolutely have a battle ahead of them. We're talking about billions of dollars in damage here, and there's a lot of evidence that they're on the hook. And we talked about PG&E, and Edison may be forced into bankruptcy, or frankly, may not have the funds to pay for one of the worst fires in American history. If you're just looking at the damage in terms of the homes lost and the billions of dollars in fire payments that will have to be paid out. So no question. And SoCal Edison has come out. They've had some filings. They're a public company, and they've been very careful about what they've said. And the reason they've been careful, certainly they don't want to admit liability, but they have shareholders as well. And the shareholders are probably very much concerned about this huge liability. And we saw a few lawsuits filed today, Andrew, but we're going to see hundreds or thousands because, again, there does seem to be evidence that they were directly responsible for this fire and they could have prevented it. So, unless they happen to win this case and prove to a judge and jury that they were not responsible or liable, this is the type of litigation that can break a company.
And of course, this is all going to be adjudicated and litigated over the course of the next, 5, 7, 10 years. But to your point, you're saying SoCal Edison has a fight ahead of them.
Oh, no question they have a fight ahead of them because people are not going to be made whole, Andrew.
Okay.
Everyone in California, they're going to get less than their home was worth because of the insurance. And that's why, there's lawyers, lots of lawyers here in Los Angeles. They're handling these insurance claims, like myself, pro bono for free because we
Wow.
know that Angelinos need this money desperately today. And like you said, the litigation against the utility company, that's not going to be resolved for years at the earliest. That money is not coming to victims in 2025 or 2026. That's something that may come years down the road once these cases get pushed to trial or the brink of trial. So the folks that need money for rent, for a place to live today, they have to file those insurance claims. They have to get that FEMA assistance to get back on their feet. And that's something that needs to happen very, very soon while these lawsuits against Edison play out over the course of the next few years.
All right, Neama Rahmani, we can't thank you enough. We know you're local to LA, and we're going to continue following these fires there. Neema, thanks. Talk soon.